data collection, PRA, participatory role of pressure. Maybe these two topics might have been not taught in the PG courses as part of research methodology course, but this is something which nowadays UGC is focusing on hybrid research, which is blended mode of research. As Sudhu said, previously I worked in the institute as a research investigator, field investigator, going for data collection, conducting household survey, household survey, that's collection of primary data, going to the villages with a big bag, with water, without water. I myself and then Arun Kumar, he is also faculty in this institute. We both used to go for field work for data collection. We enjoyed a lot. Of course, it is a very cumbersome exercise. Data collection is not that much exercise. But we used to enjoy our work. So when we love our work, generally we don't feel like fatigue or irritation or some kind of disappointment. No. If you love it, you can enjoy it. If you don't love it, your work, you don't really enjoy the work. So that's how I really started my career as a research field investigator from zero grade 1 to now grade 11. So if you put hard work, sincerity and committed, if you committed to your work, I feel that I am the living example that you can achieve anything. So hard work, sincerity, commitment is important requirements for a person's growth and development. Well, friends, actually as per your timeline, the program schedule, PRA technique, methods of data collection, RRA, PL and RRA, PRA. PL and then PRA were there. But before that, because these are two sessions, 1.5 sessions each, right? So I split this lecture into two categories. One is hybrid research in social science, basically focusing on qualitative research methods. The second part of this is methods of data collection. There are various methods of data collection, as we know. I will focus on PRA, participatory role operator, which is one of the qualitative method of data, which is widely used by many researchers and scientists like you. Well, this that only it works, otherwise it don't work. Well, why we do research? It's a more of interactive. I won't have monotype one-way discussion, but it's more of interactive kind of discussion. So why we do research? Why do we want to do research? Now, Sanshothan Act, hope some may not be able to understand Kannada, but why we do research? Is it for getting PhD degree?
Yes.
Tell me why, son?
To find out fact.
Yes. To find. I'm not asking what is research. That is my next question. First, my question is why we want to do research. Okay.
Make addition to the existing stock of knowledge,
Okay.
new contribution.
Yes.
Find a solution to the particular problem.
Find a solution for a particular problem. Next question is different. What is research? So find a solution to a particular problem. Which means that there are some problems, right? Maybe economic problems, social problems, personal, any other. There are many reasons why you not just getting PhD degree. Na? PhD degree comes afterwards. When you do research, for the research we award degree. Yeah, that is a product. So basic question is why we want to do PhD. Why we do PhD? Because as you said, there are some problems. Economic problems, social problems, anthropological. There are problems that the society or economy is encountering. So we have to do research. As you said, we have to find out solutions to the problems that we have, that we face in day-to-day life. So there are various reasons why we do research is understand the knowledge, understand the existing literature, right? Understand the existing models. In economics, we have models, theories, right? In your own discipline also, you have models, theories. Understand the existing models, theories, and prepare new theories. Why can't? Don't underestimate by yourself. You can also prepare a theory. I have also formulated a theory, but it is not published in American economic journals. If it is published in American journals, then it will come in the form of a model or theory in the text. In non-form employment, later on I can share with you how one can develop a theory or a model. In the area I work with, I did my PhD on rural non-agricultural employment in India, and analysis of its impact on poverty and inequality. So I developed a model, like Arthur Levy's model. If surplus labor is transferred from agriculture to urban manufacturing sector, economic growth takes place. So my model is improved version of that. If in the rural area itself, not to go to, because migration is not that much easy exercise. So transferring the labor force, formulating policies in such a way that which will transfer the labor from rural to urban area is not that much easy, right? It's like migration only. Migration is not that much easy. And if labor force migrate, rural economy will also may suffer now. So if labor force migrated from rural to in the rural area, from farm to non-farm, what could be the implications? What about the inequality? What about the poverty? What about the overall welfare of the community, the people in the villages? So that way I have prepared a model, and later on I have developed a theory which has been published in the form of a book, but not in the form of a textbook. I have my own book, right? Rural non-agricultural employment in India. So that model I can later on circulate you. So the why we do research is not just because of getting PhD degree. That you should keep in mind. You are here not for awarding a degree. After doing PhD, after producing a very good piece of work, for that university or the institute will give you the degree. What is the degree? PhD degree. So we are doing research not for the sake of awarding the degree. That you should keep in mind. We are doing PhD or research for this, for doing something, for finding out, for finding something new, contributing to nation building activities. So why we do research is basically, as you said, and find out the new facts, or find out the solution to a problem, or understanding the existing knowledge, theories, and formulate new theory, or evaluate the programs. Why we do research is because evaluate the programs of governments. There are several programs we know. Thousands of programs implemented by the center, state, local governments, right, for the development of rural economy and development of the rural economy. So to evaluate these programs and redesign the existing programs, we do research. And we do research also to formulate the policies, new policies. So various reasons are there why we do research in the social science or the science center. Friends, and then the next question I'll ask is why? What is research? Or in other words, how do we get answers to these questions? Questions was, how many people are in poverty? These are questions we have. We face generally. It's just example. In your own domain, you may have so many questions to be answered. So here I'll just give you to open up your mind for towards qualitative research. How many people are in poverty? How can I get answer to this question? And who are the poor? If you look at the incidence of poverty by social groups, whether SC/STs are more poor than the non-SC/STs, or OBCs, or rural people are more poor than the urban poor. Who are the poor? Literate people or literate people? Male or female? Or agricultural laborers or non-agricultural laborers? Or land households or land resource households? Who are the victims of this? And then why are they poor? Is there any one reason why? Is it because of consumption failure? You know, there are many failures leading to poverty. Amartya Sen identified different failures leading to poverty. One is consumption failure. Because of bad habits. Because of bad habits, consumption failure. They are not even properly designed the consumption basket to consume. Because of consumption of alcohol, smoking, cigarette and all. Health is affected. Huge amount of money spent and mandates of work are also lost, isn't it, because of illness. So consumption failure, endowment failure, resource failure, endowment failure. lack of land, lack of education. So endowment failure, access failure. Access failure is because farmers are not able to get the fair price for their produce, isn't it? In the market, they get generally low price, access failure. So like that, there are many failures are there leading to poverty. So we as a researcher, how can we get the answer to these questions? Why are they poor? Who are they poor? How many people are in poverty? And why the income of SAST households is low or lower compared to other households? If you look at the per capita income of SAST households, it is generally low. Why is it so? Then the same country, same society, same policies, same institutions, everything is same. But why certain sections of the society have low per capita income compared to others? This is a question bothering me day and night for researchers, right? And similarly, why some people do not have access to basic needs of life? Some people have more access, and some people have very less access to basic needs of life: food, shelter, education, health, like that, right? We are all not having equal access to basic needs of life. We know. So why this unequal access to basic needs of life? And similarly, why the health of some people is better and health of some other people is not better. Some people's health is better, some people's health is not better. So you can see you can go on raising several questions. So how do we get answer to these questions? Tell me. Here, some questions are quantitative, some questions seek quantitative answer, some questions seek qualitative answer, right? So in the research, we have both type of questions. That's what I want to take you to there. We have both qualitative questions, quantitative questions. So all here, we have several set of questions. You can go on raising so many questions. Due to paucity of time, I can't really spend more time on this. So we have so many questions to be answered. How do we answer these questions? We answer these questions through research, right? What is research? So when question comes, what is research? First, we should be clear about it. We know what is research. We know generally research. What is research? Going to the library, reading some books, and preparing some chapters, and writing and submission. This is what is research, right? What is research? Then what is research? We know research, but what is research?
Adding something to existing.
Yes, adding something to existing body of literature or knowledge. Something new you said, right? It should be new, no? Whatever you do in your own field, it can be economics, it can be anthropology, it can be psychology, whatever subject, discipline you are working, doesn't matter. But what is that important is adding something new to the existing body of literature. Already literature is existed in your own field or in your own domain or in your own discipline. Any other further? Further again, it's just not only adding something, some more description is needed so that I can, yeah.
It's a systematic exercise which leads to the development of new theories or new constructs, and
Generalizing
this way.
Yes,
Evaluating the existing theories.
Can say search for knowledge.
search for knowledge. New knowledge something. Yeah. Yes. Someone said scientific investigation, systematic and scientific. That's something which is important words in research. Just not search. We are not searching, na? Are you searching? We are researching. Researching here, it has something different. Scientific research, scientific investigation, scientific inquiry. What is the scientific inquiry, scientific investigation? It's an investigation. It's a systematic scientific investigation for what? For what you said? For search of facts, truths. Truth. We want truth, real truth. Or scientific inquiry or investigation for answer, set of answers, solutions to the problem that we have identified. In your own field, you identified some problems, some research objectives, some research questions. So we are trying to find out the answer to these questions through what? Through scientific and systematic method, procedure, steps, modus operandi, whatever it is. If just like go and then collect information and then if you come up with some solutions, that won't be a real truth or real solution problems that we are facing. So there must be some code of conduct is there. We cannot really, just like we can't go to the respondents, collect the data and come back and then feed the data to computer and then come up with some solutions. This kind of collection may not be the real solutions, real research output, but research output that we produce has something systematic procedure, scientific, which means there are code of conduct on the ground. That means that research has its own code of conduct. So, as you said, research is in a common parlance refers to search for a new knowledge, new or truth, or it's a systematic and logical study of an issue or a problem or phenomenon through scientific method. So this is how generally we define the concept of research. There may be definitions in social science, but what is important, common definition is scientific and systematic investigation. Scientific and systematic investigation for a truth, for a new knowledge, for a solutions to the problems, for answers, search for answers to questions, problems, whatever it is. It's a scientific and systematic search for a new knowledge, new truth, answers to certain questions. So in your study, please retrospect whether the newness that you are doing or not, whether your study are going to add to the existing body of knowledge or not, you just re-verify it. I have seen many of research scholars' objectives and their research issues, most of them are duplicated. Just 1 or 2 persons may be different, but still if you look at carefully, then I didn't find any newness in your study. Already done, but it doesn't mean that you are not supposed to do it. But you try to look at your problems from different angles. The angles which are not already studied and verified by others. So that's how, from methodological point of view, for data analytical point of view, statistics tools or economics tools that you use, that point of view, or objectives point of view, or area point of view, you can see that your study is something different. Right? Something different. Some people may study, impact of poverty in Karnataka. An analysis is something like that. So again, poverty in general they may not have studied, but poverty by social groups. Poverty in general, rural urban poverty is this much and rural poverty is this much. That much study is done. I'm just giving an example how to make your study different from others. So poverty by social groups, SC, ST, OBC might have not been done by other studies. So your study should focus on that angle. Okay, social groups wise has done. What about the religion wise? Hindu, Muslim, Christian, like that. You can make that kind of differentiation. And even causes of poverty, when it comes to search for causes of poverty, then some people might have said, okay, lack of literacy is the main reason for poverty, or lack of productive asset is the productive asset like land is the main reason for poverty. Right? Okay, these are the 2 important findings identified by earlier studies. But your study tried to see other factors like consumption habits, consumption failure, even institutional failures like if government failed to deliver the social security schemes or social security benefits to the poorer sections of the society, then that could also be one of the important reasons. So poverty is not a single variant phenomenon. Poverty is multifaceted, multivariate phenomenon. Poverty is not just influenced by only one factor. Poverty is influenced by many factors. Some factors are discovered and some factors are not yet discovered. So we can find out. Illiteracy is also one factor, right? Institutional failure, exchange failure. There are so many factors. So some factors might have been already discovered and some factors or reasons might have not been discovered. So the factors which are not have been discovered will be the focus of your study or objective of your study. Get my point? So in your study, then only it's a research, na? Otherwise, so once you understand the basic concept of research, then your roadmap is clear. Your roadmap is clear. Whether you are on the right track or wrong track, it will be automatically clear to you when you understand the concept of research very clearly. So therefore, why you do research, how to get answers to questions, and What is research? This is what is research that we. The next question is, what is hybrid research? We know all this, but this is a new word. Hybrid. Have you heard hybrid research? Anybody?
Yes.
Any of you heard hybrid research?
Yes.
So mixed use.
Mixed method of quantitative and qualitative.
Yes. It's a blended mode of research. That's all. Blended mode of research. Hybrid research is also known as prime college antare, triangulation antare, mixed method antare, blended mode of research methodology is also called. So it is basically, I will not get detailed discussion of this. So what is hybrid research is, it's a combination of qualitative and quantitative research. That's all. It's a combination. It's a combination of qualitative and quantitative research methods. It involves a wide range of research methods, sampling methods, data collection methods. Both are qualitative and quantitative in nature. That's what is hybrid research. Hybrid research is a blended mode of research which combines both qualitative dimension, quantitative dimension. But we, at present, if you look at the current fashion of research, the current status of research in most of the social science, especially political science, economics, sociology, and anthropology. Anthropology people do some kind of qualitative research, but economics and political science, this period, sociology, they focus on qualitative, quantitative, quantitative. Economics people only focus on quantitative, but we don't focus much on qualitative dimension. Friends, I will tell you, qualitative research is much more valid and relevant to the society than the quantitative. Using economics tools like ARTS model, GARS model, this model, that model, coming with some results may not be real story. It's only game of the data, that's all. Game of the data, isn't it? You people tell me, I'm not against the econometrics. Of course, we have to quantify the relationship between consumption and then income. That's true. But that's only game of the data. But what is the reality? Reality is something different. So that reality can be explored through qualitative research. So that's why this hybrid research concept came into picture. Even UGC, ICSR, they are focusing on the qualitative research, hybrid research. So in your research, you can combine both qualitative and quantitative. So once this lecture is over and even PR techniques is discussion on PR techniques is over, you can just see that how much this qualitative research methodology is important in your study, that you can understand it in data. So hybrid research is this. Then the next question is, what is qualitative research? Hybrid research is a combination of both qualitative and quantitative. What is qualitative? Qualitative research involves collecting and analyzing non-numerical data, non-numerical information. Qualitative research is nothing but it involves in collection, analysis, interpretation, and interpretation of what? Not numerical data, but non-numerical data. It's just qualitative information. So that's what is qualitative research, we generally call it as. And basic where this qualitative research method is generally used is not in all sciences, but some. You can use in humanities, social science, anthropology, psychology, education, health science, history. So in some of these social science and humanities discipline, you can make use of this qualitative kind of research methods. And then the basic aim of this qualitative research is to understand the experience and attitude of the people. Understand the experience of life, experience of poverty, you can say. If you ask what is poverty to the poor people, then they say that yes, lack of food is poverty. They say we are not able to get 2 squares of meals per day, so that in my view, that's poverty. If you ask someone else, no house is poverty. If I do not, I have food and everything, I have no problem, but I don't have decent house. So in my view, decent house is a poverty. Isn't it? It's a harsh mouth. That is poverty, not just consumption expenditure. If a person is spending less than 1,000 rupees per 1,800 rupees per month in rural area, that we consider poverty, right? As per your official definition, or even as per multi-dimensional poverty. Now, say qualitative dimension. Multi-dimensional poverty is nothing but qualitative concept of poverty. It combines both quantitative and non-qualitative information in the multi-dimensional poverty. Earlier, the planning commission used to have poverty line based on household monthly consumption expenditure. So that's quantitative. So quantitative poverty line, that doesn't really speak the real poverty. Whether you have house or not, whether you have illiterated or not, whether you have access to basic needs of life or not, whether you are healthy or not, that doesn't really speak, na? Does it? That doesn't really reflect it. So therefore, aim of this qualitative research is to collect, understand, study the experience of the people in their own domain, experience, attitudes, behavior, their opinion, what their opinion related to whatever it is. It can be poverty, it can be marriage, it can be child labor, it can whatever it is. Their experience, attitude, behavior. That is the main focus of the qualitative research to collect. So through qualitative research, what we do is that we collect the experience, attitudes, behaviors, opinions of the sample respondent relating to a particular phenomena, artifacts, event, functions, whatever it is which we are studying. Right? So then here generally questions are WH. What is poverty? How poverty is occurring? And why poverty is occurring? Like that. What, how, why? These are the basic questions that we ask in qualitative research, but in quantitative research, how many, how much, is it how much, how many? That shows the quantitative answer, not qualitative answer. But why, how, they give us the qualitative answer, right? So now it is quite clear for you what is quantitative and qualitative. In the case of quantitative research, as you know, it is basically a method of research through which we can collect the numerical data, statistical data through different methods, different techniques, right? So now I'll just give you a very clear picture, comparative picture between qualitative and then quantitative, taking some parameters. If you see the approach you can understand approach towards research in qualitative and then quantitative. In qualitative, we have inductive. You may be knowing difference between inductive and then deductive method, right? In microeconomics, in the beginning itself, we have concepts called inductive method and deductive method. So in the qualitative research, inductive method, that is smaller to larger, specific case to general case. We take small group, we derive some inferences, conclusions, and expand to whole of society, entire society, right? So that is what is known as inductive method. But this qualitative method of research makes use of the approach called inductive approach. But whereas quantitative method of research use the approach called deductive method, larger to smaller. We take macro perspective and come to the apply to the micro perspective or micro problem. So this is how, so that you can make a clear-cut distinction between qualitative research and then quantitative research, right? And goal, if you see the goal of the research of qualitative and quantitative, see the goal of the qualitative research is to have depth understanding, depth, local meaning, and generate hypothesis. Objectives what is the objectives of qualitative research? Understand the depth of the issue, not breadth. Take one particular issue, understand its depth. Depth you can understand. Depth, it's shallow, all. And generate, understand the local meanings. Poverty means local people may have different concepts. Hunger means different concepts. Education, literacy means different concepts. Right? Just not read and write. Functional literacy, functional literacy, nominal literacy. Local concepts that and then form the hypothesis, not test the hypothesis. But in the case of quantitative, breadth, wide coverage of the issues, and then generalization, and then test the hypothesis, not form the hypothesis. For formulation of hypothesis, qualitative research method is used, but the quantitative research method, they test the hypothesis formed by qualitative research method. So which is the base for your research? Quantitative research is the base for your quantitative research. Qualitative research is the base. First we formulate the hypothesis, to formulate the hypothesis, we don't use quantitative research method, but we use qualitative research method. We have some group discussion, form an hypothesis. Okay. Later on, these econometrics here or status here, they test the hypothesis. Testing of hypothesis is the responsibility of quantitative research. Formulation of hypothesis is the responsibility of qualitative research. So you can get clear-cut distinction between quantitative and qualitative. And as far as setting is concerned, research setting, it's a qualitative, it's a natural setting, no artificial. But come here, sit on the chair, sit on the floor, and not artificial setup. As in the case of quantitative, but in the qualitative, natural setting. Just naturally, events are happening, festivals are taking place, right? Some events are performing, so that will be captured. But here, experimental and control. In the quantitative research, we have control group, na? We compare. Say for instance, what is that? SLG. Villages with SLG, villages without SLG, or NGOs. Villages with NGO, villages without NGO. And before and after. Suppose if there is a construction of a dam and you want to study the impact of dam, right? Impact of dam on a cropping pattern, whatever it is, right? So before dam, after dam. I mean before the construction of the dam, after the construction. So there is a control group, isn't it? But here it is not like that. It's a natural setup. And the sample size is concerned in the qualitative research method. It's a smaller size, small group, dynamic group, active group, informed group, informed group. But here, sample is large. You might have heard how many households we have surveyed with? 400, 500, right? 300. In the qualitative research method, no such kind of large number of samples, only few, but it's a representative of your 500 sample households. There may be 10, 15, but these 10, 15 exactly represent your 500 households. So that's what is, so that you can reduce collection of information from 5 or 10, 15 people. Takes little cost, little time compared to the collection of information from 500 households. Obviously, I'll tell little later. So one sample. Data here, words, images, and narrow but rich. In the qualitative method of data collection, there won't be data on consumption, expenditure, savings, no. These are all quantitative data. Here words, it's good, nice, I don't know, no, better, satisfaction, unsatisfaction, not done, not performed, failure, achievements, unachievements, like that. There are words. Yes or no is a qualitative information. Is it a quantitative? It's a qualitative information. So words, data are in the form of words. Images means photos, pictures. If there is a picture, that picture gives some meaning, na? One picture worth of 1,000 words. You know, there's a proverb in English. One picture worth of 1,000 words. One picture, small one picture, gives you a meaning of 1,000 words. So picture is a form of the data, qualitative data, right? And here, numeric numbers, all numbers, data, numerical value, but shallow, but broad. Okay. And data analysis here descriptive, here statistics test models we use. Data analysis hang marking descriptive manner. In the case of qualitative research method, the description, describing the things, explanation, analysis like that. But here we will do some statistical tests, t-test, f-test, ANOVA. We will test the hypothesis by using different econometric statistical tools like that, right? So values here, personal values, and partially subjective irtade. Here it objective, and detachment and then impartiality can be found in the quantitative. So validity, when it comes to the validity, through cross-checking so there's a concept called triangulation. Here in the case of qualitative method of data, we can have a cross-checking concept called triangulation. There are three sources through which we can cross-check the data whether it is valid or not valid. But here, through variety of procedures, we test the validity of the data. We test the validity of the data, diagnostic test of market, isn't it? Diagnostic values when it comes for the regression analysis and all, we go for diagnostic test. So here, there you use statistical tools to test the validity of the data. But here, in the qualitative method, no such statistical tools are used to test the validity of the data. Validity of the data, validity of the, you can understand validity, truthness, reality. Validity of the data is tested through triangulation, cross-checking. Peer techniques, I'll tell once again, cross-checking. Suppose you see here in the case of qualitative research, data collection is from group of the people. Na? If someone says wrong, others are there to cross-check. No, it's not like that, it's like this. It's like in data collection, we involve all the people, group of the people. So there, if someone says wrong information, others are there to cross-check it. No, it's not like that, it's like this. So that kind of cross-checking through triangulation is possible in the case of qualitative method of research, but in the quantitative, validity of the data can be done only through your diagnostic tools, not other method. So diagnostic tools, it's only basically it's a game of data, that's all. So then all formulation of research questions and how research questions are generally formulated and all. So generally, how do you identify the research question? Just how do you identify? Through review of literature. And even our own life experience also. Right? Our own life experience will also make us to identify the research issue. Or in other words, through the discussing with the guide, discussing with your friends, right, researchers or any other people, then we'll identify the research issues or research, right? Then, so generally through review of literature, we specifically identify the research issues or research questions. And some of the question may be quantitative in nature, some of the question may be qualitative in nature. So once you identify the research questions, then you decide whether I should focus on quantitative method or qualitative method. But in my view, in your research, there are some questions you go and cross-check it. These questions make us to adopt the qualitative dimensions of research. I'll tell wherever it is possible, you can use some qualitative methods of research, wherever it is possible, in data analysis, in data collection, in data writing also, report writing. You can also make use of qualitative kind of analysis. I'll tell you later on, not now. So once you identify research questions, then you decide whether I should make use of quantitative method or qualitative method, right? Then generally data that we collect in the qualitative method of research can be classified into these categories. One important category is structured text. Structured you can understand, structured and unstructured. Semi-structured. Structured is a systematic setup, yes. Writings. Somebody's writings. Writings of Nehru. Writings of Mahatma Gandhi. Writings of Swami Vivekananda. Writings of Ambedkar. Right? There are many nationalists, social activists have writings. So if you read their writings, even if you read the Ramayana Mahabharata written by Valmiki, right? Maharshi Valmiki, from the Ramayana, not Mahabharata, from the Ramayana written by Valmiki, you can get so many things. How was their life? How was the relationship between brothers? How was the relationship between husband and wife? How the family fabrication was there? How they were committed? How they were transparent? How was Dasharatha Maharaj or Sri Ram ruled the kingdom? Who can understand whether there is a partiality, impartiality, whether gender discrimination was there, or whether exploitation was there. So many things you can understand from the writings. So that is also a data. That is also a data in the qualitative method of research. Especially anthropology, sociology, political science people make use of this kind of information to write their thesis, right? Ambedkar works. So Ambedkar works, writings, quotations. Ambedkar's quotation. And there are data only, qualitative data. So stories, somebody's story, Ramanujam's story, or Romeo Juliet stories. So some stories are also the source of data. Similarly, survey comments, not the survey comments. Survey conduct, sample survey, NSSO survey, census survey, or your own survey, you make some comments after, not the numerical data, but survey comments and news articles which appear in the newspaper related to a particular issue, maybe corruption, maybe democracy, maybe poverty, maybe any issues that we work, right? On that issue, in the newspaper, you can see some news, some information. That is also structured data. And books also, old books, even new books. Generally, old books you take and then review it, right? And these are the structured and unstructured transcription, right? Some just scribblings, transcriptions are shasanagalu, yes, and interviews. Then some interviews between or interviews with big people, nationalists or social activists, and focus groups, information collected from the focus group. I'll tell you what is focus group a little later. And conversation, consultations, audio recordings, music, video recordings, all art, picture, visual arts, photos, even photo. If you get the old photo of Ambedkar's, his family photo when he was child, when he was going to the schools, that photo in his house reflects some information, gives some information, how they are poor, how they are discriminated, and how Ambedkar led the life. If you get the photo, you can understand their life and all. So that is also qualitative information that gives you, that really improves your quantitative research. If you add some kind of photos, pictures, in addition to your research study, that really improves the beauty of your research work. And similarly, we have sampling techniques, sampling and sample positive generally. This one is, the one I said is classification of qualitative data, structured, unstructured. The next one is sampling techniques, sample size. Just what is sampling techniques that are used to collect the data? What is the sample size will be discussed here. So sampling, as you know, there are two categories of sampling, right? Probability and non-probability. What is non-probability? Distinction between probability and non-probability. What is the probability sampling?
Every equal chance of getting every person.
Good. I think there may be class on that. Isn't it? No class? In your coursework, yes, you have already studied probability and non-probability. In MA, you have studied, and coursework you have studied, and you have already gone several research training courses like this, right? Any unit or any population has equal chance of being selected. That's probability. Non-probability, no equal chance. That's it. So here, the techniques of sampling techniques in the case of qualitative research is non-probability. Again, in the non-probability, you have different types of sampling. One is purposive sampling techniques. I will not get into detail what is purpose. Purpose means deliberately we are going and then collecting the data. Say for instance, old age people. You want to study life security of life of the old age people. Then you will only concentrate on old age people, right? Or lifestyle of widows. Only concentrate on widow, or if your study is focusing on woman-headed households, you will only focus on woman-headed households, no other households. You may compare, that's a different issue. But your focus is on woman, widow, and like that. So that is purposive sampling technique instead. And similarly, quota sampling, subgroups of based on traits. So quota sampling, you take some quota sampling. That is also yes, minimum quota will take, and then minimum specific group will take. Then similarly, another concept called snowball or chain reference sampling. Have you heard snowball sampling? Yes. It's a referral chain. We take the reference of first sample and contact the next sample. So it is snowball in the Himalaya, in snow hill. Small snowballs, once if you throw it, it rolls and it becomes bigger than bigger. So first round, one sample, second round, second, third, fourth, like that, number of sample increases. So snowball also swells on its own as it rolls on its own, the size becomes bigger than bigger, right? So that's what it's snowball sample, or it is also known as referral. So these are the sampling techniques. Then other techniques are like this: convenient or apostolic sample. Convenient sampling means the convenient to the researchers. Those who are there in the village or house will just go and collect the data. So it's all non-probability. It's not probable. It's a non-probability. So convenient sampling and other extreme deviant sampling. Extreme deviant sampling means outliers of curriculum. We call it as outliers. Say there may be successful stories or unsuccessful stories, failure stories, or say top in the class or dropout. Extreme deviant. One is very first rank, other fellow failed. We take those things. Why he got or he or she got first rank? Why he or she failed? Extreme deviant sampling. Extreme deviant sampling. So it's a purposive only, but it's extreme deviant sampling. One is on the top, one is at the bottom. We take and then study. And similarly, maximum variant sampling. Maximum variation sampling means, say one is richest person, another one is poorest person. Rural, urban. We take some people from rural and some people from urban. It's a maximum variant. One is the highest, one is the lowest. Maximum variant. Maximum has to highest, yes, as much as is possible. It can be income, it can be consumption, it can be rate of literacy, it can be anything, maximum. Another one is very lowest, like that. And then homogeneous sampling, this is generally homogeneous group. And last important is theoretical sampling. Theoretical sampling. See, here basically the objectives of this theoretical sampling is to generate hypothesis. What do we do? First we'll, for instance, in the case of smoking and lung cancer, we'll have some discussion with some people who are smoking. Okay, why you smoke, and how frequently you smoke, and if you smoke, what disease you have. Like that we. Some people, out of 4 or 5 people, some people say that because of my smoking, I am having respiratory problem, and some people say that cancer problem. Some people say there are some other problems, right? Then cancer is most dangerous thing. Then again, we take that cancer, one issue will take. Respiratory problem is one, headache is another one, stomach pain is another one. There are so many problems may be there due to smoking, right? Say cigarette. So then cancer. Then we'll approach some other people who smokes for years together. These people only smoking for some 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Then we'll meet the people who are smoking years together. Then they also say that no, because of smoking it leads to cancer. Then again we'll meet people who smokes more than years, not year, more than years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years they are smoking. So they also, then we'll get to know, yes, because of the smoking, so this is the disease that we get it. This is a hypothesis. I'm just telling you an example. Like that you can also use this theoretical sampling. Means if you doubt something else, just because of some bad habits, chewing tobacco, chewing gutka, drinking alcohol or beverages, or even if you work continuously without break, without taking rest and all, without changing of your work, what will happen to the health if you want to? So because of continuous sitting, it may lead to piles, some problems like if you smelt it, if you doubt it, then we can discuss. Yes, those who are working continuously, especially for the researchers, this problem is there. And tailors, they also sit quite frequently, continuously, tailoring people, tailor those who prepare cloth and all. So for them also, okay. For them also you can just have a discussion, then we'll certainly know that yes, because of this reason, this disease is likely to crop up, right? So like that you can develop a theory, develop a hypothesis, then leave it to quantitative researcher to test it. So these are the some important methods of data collection. Then next is, I'll tell you what are the important, these are sampling techniques, then methods of data collection I have, but let us now break for tea. This is one session is over, right?
Yes.
Okay. The next is another session. You started, you made me to start at 15 minutes late. Isn't it? Okay, fine. I can wind up at 1:30, right?
Yes.
1:30 to 2:30 lunch. 2:30 or 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock. Session starts from 2 o'clock, right?
Yes.
So we'll eat your lunch time. You have lunch quickly and then come back, okay? So that I can finish it. Otherwise, if I go fast, you can't understand anything. I want you to be involved in this discussion and interaction. Then only it becomes fruitful and enjoyable. Otherwise, there are so many issues to tell. Actually, this qualitative research method is one semester course. I can't really teach in 1 hour and 1.5 hours. It's a one semester course. Each method is a syllabus, each technique is a syllabus, one chapter,
Yes.
one paper. So I can't really, it's one course, one semester paper is there. But I summarize it, what actually it is and how you can make use of it. Yes, we'll break for tea and then come back. Are you following me or not? Yes, sir. Captured here. Just very simple analysis. You can refer. It is there in the library. How to prepare the table, how to interpret it. Interpret is also important. Many people what they do, again they restate the data which are mentioned in the table. In the table we have data, numerical data, statistical data. Again then rewrite. This percentage this percentage increase, this percentage. No, it's not like that. What actually the data speaks of, that should be explained. That's analysis, interpretation. That's an interpretation. Interpretation many people do it, do not do it. So in this book it is done it, you refer so that you can learn how to prepare the table and how to interpret that table, the data mentioned in the table. So there will actually, when you get time, you can just make reference of it. Or you can also buy it. It is e-source, it is available in Flipkart. If you buy Flipkart, you know? Yes. In the Flipkart it is available. Maybe 400 it is available discount. Yes, coming back to I don't want to get into more detailed presentation. Similar to your quantitative method of research, we also have different methods of data collection. Methods, you can understand what methods and techniques. Hello, can you hear me? Even otherwise also you can hear, right? Hello? Good. Connection on no issue, I can stand it. The teacher really not going to sit there now. That's yes. Yes, sorry. Now it's okay. See, there are 6 important methods of data collection. Techniques are different, methods are different. Don't get it confused. Techniques, say for instance, questionnaire. Entry schedule, you know. Checklist, entry schedule, questionnaire. There are techniques through which you can collect the data. Method, survey is the method. Survey is the method. Or observation is the method. Interview is the method. But methods are different, techniques are different. So we have in the qualitative method of research, we have 6 important methods of data collection. One method, interview, personal interview. Just have a face-to-face dialogue. You may be having list of questions to be asked, or you can have a checklist. Checklist you can understand, list of the broad questions that you can ask. And observation, again observation, participatory observation, non-participatory observation. Observation of a particular event. It depends on what type of observation you need to do. You have to decide, depending on your nature of study, the nature of research subject, is an issue. We can just observe the event and collect the data, right? So participatory observation, non-participatory observation we also have. So personal interview, face-to-face dialogue, right? Collection of the information, and focus group interview in another method. Focus. We general researcher or team of researcher will focus on some important respondents. Say migrant workers. So we will focus on migrant workers. Why you migrate? Where do you migrate? And how much you get their wages or remuneration money, and what are the facilities in the migrant places? Like that, you can have focus group interview. So immediately you can get the reasons why they migrate, how many days they migrate, and in migrant places how much wages that they get, and in migrant places what are the important facilities they are available: drinking water, drinking water facility, health facility, educational facility, housing facility, like that. So that is focus group interview. And open-end surveys. Survey also part of not just survey per se. Open-end surveys means what? Closed-end, open-end. You have difference, right? Closed-end means answers, options are closed. You have to tick only. But here open-end surveys means we ask the questions, why you migrate? Then people will get a number of questions. Why you migrate? No employment, right? And wages is less, wages are very low, and there is a work exploitation at workplace. Like that, they give various reasons. That's open-end surveys. So that is also another method of qualitative data collection. And another one is oral history, gathering historical issues. We will sit with say the contemporary people of Mahatma Gandhiji, right? Or we sit with freedom fighters, right? Or any other such people, and then collect the historical, when you started, how you fought with the British people, what you did, that, this, all story you collect. So that is oral history. That's another method of data collection, quantitative data collection. Other one, ethnographic observation. Anthropologists and psychology people will adopt this kind of ethnographic observation. They stay there itself in the village. Suppose if Siddhaki, Hakki, there are some tribal communities, primitive tribal communities are there. So if a researcher wants to study the living standard, living condition, living style of the primitive old groups, tribal groups, then anthropology scientists or anthropologists and psychologists, they adopt ethnographic observation. They stay there itself in the village and observe morning activities, evening activities, their culture, their festivals. Then only they will be able to get the reliable information. So they stay in the field for months together, years together, depending on their time schedule and all, collect the information. So these are the various methods of data collection, qualitative data collection, right? So we generally, but in the next session, I'll focus on PRA, where this focus group interview will be conducted. So this is all I just summarized, observation method, just observing, right? Participatory, non-participatory. Focus group interview. We'll have some important group of the people and then interview them, depending on our research questions and all, right? It differs from person to person. all you need not to have same type of questions or same, but focus group will be there, but questions that you ask may be different from person to person depending on your nature of study, right? So then open-end surveys, options are open there, and oral history. It can be event you can capture, group activity you can capture, community or area under forestry, rainfall. So historical, I mean, information will be captured for a generation together, for a number of years or number of decades. So that how rainfall is changing over a period of time. So that is that kind of information if you are collecting, then that is known as oral history method of data. History means not necessarily the department of history or subject of history. Even anthropology also, economics also, over a period of time, how rainfall is changing and cropping pattern is changing, and how this area under forestry is getting changed. So that kind of historical perspective information is collected, that is known as oral history. So this ethnographic observations in the village itself, in tribal community, then there can go and stay with them and then understand their culture, living standard and habits, behavior, everything. Then the next method is the methods of qualitative data analysis. Data analysis. Here there are different types of data analysis formats depending on the nature of the study. We can select one or two methods of data analysis. One is content analysis, content analysis. In the content analysis, we will be having certain contents. Suppose behavior of a Siddiqui community. Behavior is one. Behavior with respect to what? Behavior with respect to public. Behavior with respect to their relatives. Behavior with respect to some when he or she goes to the market, how they behave. One is behavior content. Then attitude. Then similarly values, emotions or opinions. Like that, there will be some data will be there and then description will be done. I'll just give an example in the content analysis. So sustainable development is a content. So sustainable development with respect to sustainable development, so it is connected to economy, cooperation, equity, social and sharing and wealth, and then environment and footprints, perception, resources and energy, like that. There will be contents. No need to have any table. Just sustainable development. What is the opinion about opinion of the community about the sustainable development? Similarly, poverty. Poverty is a content. So what do you mean by poverty? You say something. And what do you mean by poverty? You say something. Others say something. From their angle, see, from their lens, from their glass, from their perspective, they can say the poverty, discuss the poverty. Like that, that is the one content. Why do the why poverty is high among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes? That's another content. So like that, sustainable development is one content. Governance, how governance contribute to ensure sustainable development. People say some opinion. And how population is helpful for sustainable development or not helpful for sustainable development. So people to whom you are interacting, they will give some information. So there will be some content. Some relationship is also built up. Relationship between population and sustainable development. Relationship between governance and sustainable development. Like that, content will be there, and among the content, some kind of relationship is built up. Poverty, yes. And where the poverty is high, it is high among scheduled castes, scheduled tribes compared to others. Right? People say that. And why poverty is high among them? Then their education background, or habits, consumption habits, or land availability will link with them. So that's another content, right? So there will be main content, sub-contents, and each contents are interrelated. So here see sustainable development is a main content and other sub-contents are interrelated. Like that you have to prepare your analysis, that is known as content analysis. Content, what are the contents? These are the contents. That's why it is known as content analysis, and there should be tables, there may be tables or there may not be tables. Tables in the sense not this kind of tables. Data tables. Data that may be statistical data, may not be statistical data, but it may be descriptive also, right? Yes. So other one is narrative analysis, life story of some community, life story of Mahatma Gandhi ji, you can say, life story of Ambedkar ji, life story of any nationalist. So if life story has its own sequence now, There won't be any other life stories. If life stories, or if it is related to one person's life story, it's one person's life story only, starting from his or her birth to till the death. What are the different stages, different issues to be? You have to decide. What is your focus of study? Depending on your focus of study or objectives, you can prepare the life story of a person. So that is known as narrative analysis. What is known as narrative analysis? We narrate the stories or life achievements of a person whom you are studying. So that's one. And discourse analysis. Discourse analysis, it is natural occurring talks, naturally spoken words in the Siddiqui community or in any older community with respect to marriage. Suppose if you are studying on marriage related issues. So when marriage is taking place, then naturally some sequence will take place. You don't have to ask any question there. Whatever it is occurring naturally, that will be documented. It can be marriage. It can be any other rituals like naming ceremony or death ceremony. The death ceremony of one community or one religion may be different from death ceremony of other religions. And naming ceremony also, marriage ceremony also, or any other, even occupational activities also. Harvesting. How harvesting is taking place, it is naturally documented. You don't have to have any questions. Just harvesting is taking place, naming ceremony is taking place, and marriage is taking place, and any other socio-economic functions are taking place there, then you have to document as it is. That is, that kind of documentation, that kind of description, that kind of analysis is known as discourse analysis. Discourse analysis, making the things as it is, documenting the things as it is occurring there itself. And the other one is framework analysis. Framework analysis, in the framework analysis what we do, we will make a framework of selected variables and try to build up the relations. Say for instance, we can use numerical. Here we can also use numerical values. It doesn't mean that numerical data should not be used. No, you can use numerical values, but try to do some framing of or bringing some relationship between two variables. For instance, education and poverty. I'm just giving an example. You need to identify which variables, for which variables you need to have framework analysis. It is up to you. But here an example is education and poverty. So how education is poverty is related? Yes, you will discuss. You discuss with your respondents. At the end of the discussion, what you will get to know? Yes, where education is high, poverty is low. You will get to know that. That's a framework analysis. Where education is high, literate people are high, their poverty is low. Then that kind of analysis. Why is because if more number of people are educated, then they are more likely to get better jobs, right? Their earnings are high, their spendings are high, right? And their living standard is better. So therefore, poverty is less compared to the households which do not have literacy, which have very little education background. So when this kind of analysis is known as framework analysis. Similarly, education and child labor can link. Education and malnutrition you can link. Education and quality of employment you can link. You can link you take any variables that are related to your study and then try to put in a framework analysis, that is known as framework analysis. And other one is ground theory analysis. Grounded theory analysis. Generally it is based on the interaction with the people to develop hypothesis or concept. This kind of analysis it is known as done where if you want to develop some hypothesis, generate some hypothesis, not to test, generate some hypothesis, then this analysis is known as grounded theory. For instance, many people now apply hair dye, right? And if you have discussion with the people who are applying color, hair dye, you discuss with some people say that more number of hairs, as you apply more hair, color, number of white hairs will increase. That's one observation. And somebody says that as we apply more color, number of hair falls increases, right? And length also may cut down, right? Like that, you can come up with some observations. Then you can develop a theory. Again, in the hair dye coloring, there are different brands are there. How the different brands are there. Again, you brand wise you go. Which brand you use? I use Modi. Other one, some Godrej, some Garnier, like that. So those who are applying Garnier compared to Modi, then see hair falling frequency or white hair becoming white and all. Then you come to know that theory. What is the theory? What is the hypothesis? Those who makes use of the Modi hair dyeing care, their hairs are healthy, their hairs do not fall quite frequently. That's just theory, that's hypothesis. I'm just giving an example. So in your own field you know better. You can, like that, you can have observation, discuss with the people you want and develop one theory, one hypothesis or one concept that is known as grounded theory like that. So then merits, yes, each method, whether it is quantitative or qualitative, each one of them have its own merits and demerits, no doubt about it, right? There are some merits of qualitative, real merit. It is much cheaper compared to quantitative method of data, quantitative method of research. Right? Because in quantitative method, what we do, we print into schedule, go for field work once together, right? And employing some research investigators, then come back and feed the computer data into the computer, presentable, printing, this, that. It's really lengthy process and what? Cost intensive, more cost. It's not cheaper. But here what we do? No need to print questionnaire. Checklist is enough, recording is enough, and no need to have large sample respondents. Some, yeah, key informers are enough. So it's cheaper compared to quantitative method of research, and it is better method to understand or have in-depth feelings of the consumers. I mean, it is a better method to understand the behavior of the consumer, behavior of the respondents, attitude of the respondents. So qualitative method, qualitative information, insights, if you want to get it, this is the best method. But through quantitative method, you cannot understand the behavior of the respondents, behavior, attitude, opinion, experience. So some of these information you cannot really capture through quantitative method of research, but qualitative method of research you can capture, and they are also more important. And actually, qualitative research method improves the efficiency of and effectiveness of qualitative research, quantitative research. Qualitative research really improves the quality and efficiency of quantitative research. So if you want to improve the quality of quantitative research, then you should make use of qualitative research methods. But of course, it has some demerits. Same demerits. What are the demerits? One is, if you look at the sample size, it's very small size. It's a smaller one. We don't like, as in the case of quantitative research, we don't have large number of samples. Only few sample sizes small, but the information or the inferences that we draw based on the smaller sample size cannot be generalized. Is it generalizable? It's not generalizable. The key informs that we select for collection of information, if they are well versed, well informed, they know everything of the village or the phenomena that you study, then it's okay. But it's a guarantee that these people are key informants, if they know everything. We don't know. We should generally ask, okay, come some people and then sit here, then we'll have some information interaction like that we do. So if they are not well informed, having full information of the village or the phenomena, then the information that we get may not be generalized. And it is results are difficult to generalize because the results are drawn only based on some smaller sample size, and so therefore adequacy, validity, reliability, generalizability is questionable. It may be valid, it may not be valid, it may not be generalizable, and it may not be reliable also. So these are some, while collection of the data, we researcher may be biased. There's a possibility of biasness in collection and analysis of the data. So these are some merits, but it doesn't mean that this method is not good. But this method has lots of advantages and lots of benefits. So this really improves the quality. Wherever you can apply, wherever it is possible for data collection, for data analysis, you can have a box type of analysis and put one box in your thesis. So there really it supports your main argument that you make in the report. Say for instance, if your study is related to migration, Okay, what you do in survey method or in quantitative research method, you prepare questionnaire, interview schedule, go and collect the data and prepare the table and analyze it and do everything. But you can also, along with that, you can also have one focus group interview with the migrant workers relating to why you migrate, where do you migrate, how you are treated in the migrant places, whether in the migrant places you are getting facilities available or not to your doorsteps or not, like that. You can ask, prepare some questions, have an interview, and the results of interview can be put in a box. And even relationship also you can prepare. Different institutions, how they are playing important role in your overall development, like that. You can also prepare some Venn diagram type of later stage. I'll tell you what is Venn diagram or chapati diagram. There, that kind of things we can also bring in your report writing. So therefore, but nowadays many research institutes and researchers are making use of this quantitative research method along with quantitative research method. So this is a standard format, just format of report writing. I will not get into this kind of detailed discussion, but you can just have introduction, methods, results, conclusion, recommendations, acknowledgement and reference. This generally found format for report writing based on the qualitative research methods. Right. For more details, you can refer. These are the different books. Reference for qualitative research methods. So, if you have any doubts, any questions, you can raise with respect to this. Otherwise, at the end, you can have a question hour session, right? Otherwise, can you help me to open up other slide?
Sir, ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ reference
Yes.
API style ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ
Yes, exactly. That is the APL or MPL. Generally, it is followed. ML. And you can follow one standard. Any standard, generally we economics people follow EPW style or Indian Journal of Labor Economics or Agricultural Economics, or ML or APL style is also okay. But there, if you use software, there's I found some inconsistency in the software. It doesn't really gives clear cut picture. In the automatic it gets changed. For article, title of the article we need to italicize. But when in the software we give italic kind of things, but later on it gets changed on its own. It becomes non-italic when state line. So that problem we have found. But manually you can do it. You can open. Go to main menu. Main. PRA, yes. That one. And there may be a lecture on report writing at the end. The report writing that will come. Site reference, bibliography, endnote, footnote. PRA. PRA. Yes, methods of data collection. So here I focus PLA, PRA. PLA, participatory and learning. It is PRA, participatory and rural appraisal. Earlier it was PLA, participatory and learning appraisal. PRA, participatory and rural appraisal.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about migration of labor from rural to urban and both and what are the consequences?
You are asking, means impact you are asking, right?
Yes.
See, one has to investigate, na, I can't really simply make hypothetical explanation. So, it may have adverse impact or beneficial impact. We have to investigate. If the labor migrates from rural to urban area, in urban area there is a possibility of increasing slums. Slums also may grow, na? If urban local bodies are not able to manage this migration, then people may not be able to get housing, drinking water facility, health and all. There is a mushroom of slum areas. And in the origin, I mean in the rural area, okay, migrant people will send money back, remittance. And the household's expenditure may increase. Expenditure on education, expenditure on health, even housing, expenditure on housing, because they get money from the people who migrate, na? So that just hypothetical explanation. Research you have to do it. It has its own, even because of labor migration, labor shortage will be there. And because of labor shortage, agriculture production may be affected, right? And at the same time, because of labor shortage, wage also may grow. And because of an increase in the wage, income of the poor households increase. So because of increase in the income of the poor households, their expenditure will increase and poverty may come down, isn't it? So these are all hypothetical explanation. You need to go ahead and investigate if some share of people migrate from rural to urban area. What is the impact on origin? What is the impact on destination? Destination means a place where they will migrate, and origin means place from where they comes, right? Come for migration. So in origin, destination you can evaluate it. But this is what my hypothetical explanation to the question. Even at the time of lunch also we can have this kind of discussion. Even related to this presentation also, you can note it down, and at the end of this lecture we can have discussion. Yes. See here also, this is a part of the earlier discussion. What the previous discussion that I made here. So I will tell you different methods of data collection. Already it is stated. So I will focus on PRA, participatory rural appraisal.